Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today is Christmas Eve, and to everyone that celebrates Christmas, Merry Christmas. To everybody else, Happy Holidays. But today's video is going to be about specifically planting the Jaboticaba seeds. So don't go away. I've got some really important stuff and some little secrets that you're not going to want to miss. Alright, so this Jaboticaba is also in a 25 gallon. This is a red Jaboticaba just like the other one. And today's video is specifically about red Jaboticaba and how to plant the seeds. But before we get to the secrets of planting the seeds and some of the special things that you should really know about them, I wanted to show you some of the fruit. Now this one doesn't have a lot of fruit, but it has a lot of flowers. I've been taking the fruit and I've been planting the seeds. And you'll see some of the seeds in a minute. So like every day I eat a couple of the fruit. I clean them up with my teeth a little bit, and then I plant them, and we're going to get to that, as I said, in a moment. So let me grab a fruit. Here's one up here. Alright, so I wanted to show you a close-up. These are the little flowers, the white flowers, and you can see the small, tiny green fruit that's developing on the tree. And as I say, I've been picking these almost every day. So, sorry, this one doesn't have a lot of fruit on it that's mature. But like I said, this is what it looks like. The fruit grows on the trunks. They begin flowering, they begin setting small little fruit, and eventually they grow and they get absolutely delicious. Alright, so I've put a little display here for you to kind of explain this a little bit. We're going to talk about the fruit and we're going to talk about the seed, okay? So basically what I do is you enjoy these fruit very easily. You just put them in your mouth and you start biting into the skin, okay? Bite into the skin. And you have a nice white, it's so good. It's almost like a, kind of a little bit of a slight bubblegum flavor. It's really nice. And when you do that, very juicy. You can squeeze quite a bit of juice out of here. And it's very nice. Now I don't like to eat the skin. The skin has a lot of tannin. So I stay away from the tannin of the skin. I don't like to eat the skin. You can if you want. So your seeds are going to come out, obviously they're going to have some fruit on them, so it's good to clean them. And you clean them a little bit with your teeth. Clean them as best you can with your teeth, and then just take them and very carefully now, you can go ahead and you can start removing the flesh from the outside, and you'll get a seed that looks like it's white with some pink on the edges, right? Or completely pink or completely white with a little pink. Depends. Sometimes that varies. So the one that you're looking at right here, as I clean it, is getting a little bit of red surrounded by white, okay? And I still have some pulp on there. I don't worry too much about the pulp. If I want to take a little tissue and I just clean it, and I want to plant these right away, okay? If you order seeds online, you want to make sure you're getting them from someone who just picked the fruit like a couple of days, ships it to you express or priority mail, so that it's not very old, maybe a couple of days to a week at the most. If they're a week old, then put them in some water, let them hydrate, and then you can go ahead and plant them the way I'm going to show you. Now, the positioning of which part goes up and which part goes down for the root, don't worry about that. Just plant them, and they'll be fine. They'll find their way, and they'll go ahead and they'll sprout up. As I said earlier, today's December 24th, so the weather's been, 67, 72, 65, 64, okay? So it's been like that. Next week, we're going to get a cold front down here in South Florida, so it's going to probably be down in the 40s, maybe even lower, I don't know. But they seem to handle the cold pretty well, but they're going to germinate much faster when the weather is warmer, okay? So when the weather is in the 80s, and 85, 90, okay, and it's nice and warm, they're going to probably sprout within a month, maybe even a little less. This time of year, when you plant them, for me anyway, it's taken me almost 2 months before I see a tiny little filament of a stem, very small. And we're going to go into that a little more because it's important for you to realize that these seeds should be planted a certain way, because if you don't plant them the way I'm explaining, later it's a little more difficult to separate them. And why would you separate them? You separate them because these are polyembryonic. That means that you get multiple seedlings from one seed. So far, I've never seen one that gave me just one seedling. I've always seen 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. And if you plant them the way I'm going to show you, you're going to be able to get more plants, because instead of just planting one and then maybe cutting away the other or having a whole bunch of them growing together competing with each other, you can just simply separate them. But anyway, what we're going to use to plant is, I like to use these bags, which are just fabric bags, grow bags. These are called root pouch. And root pouch comes in 3 different types, okay? These are the medium strength, and then there's the stronger ones that are heavy duty, which are brown. These are gray. And then they have another very thin type of material also, and that one is very light duty. But this is medium duty. This will serve me for at least a year. All right, so now that the seed has been cleaned, I get the grow bag and I just start to fill the bag. What I did is I filled the bag with a combination of 50% peat moss and 50% Pro Mix, or you could use any good potting soil, and you want to add some peat. Now some people use 100% peat, which is fine. You could do that to germinate the seeds. So you'll plant your seeds, you'll just go and put all your seeds in here, just cover them just slightly. Don't even bury them deep. Just push it a little bit with your finger, cover it with some soil, and you're done. That's it. Now, the next step is to protect them from the birds. Yep, sometimes that happens. The birds will come in here and they'll pick at this and they'll ruin your whole seedling setup. So kind of protecting them is smart. So if you have something you could put over them, like a crate or a box, probably not a bad idea, because believe me, the birds have caused a lot of damage. So let's go on and I'll show you something else. I'm going to show you another way to plant them, which is done using 100% sphagnum moss. And I'll show you the advantage of that in just a moment. All right, so I'm going to put my seed back. I have an extra seed here. I'm going to put it in a little cup with water temporarily. And then I explained that there's another way to grow these, and you can use straight sphagnum moss. So what I've done is I've taken a pile of sphagnum moss, a big handful, put it in this clay pot, and then I have some seeds that are already germinating, and I'll show you what those seeds look like. All right, so I mentioned earlier that the seeds are polyembryonic and you get multiple seedlings that sprout right out of the seed. So one of the ways that sometimes people do this is they use these shallow little 48 cell trays that are plastic, just these trays, and then they put them in a very shallow. I don't recommend that. I think you should plant them in a community pot. This is called the community pot. There's a whole bunch of them in here together, and then you use either sphagnum or you could use the potting soil and 50% peat mix. That's one of my preferred methods, but this is a great method too, okay? Especially if you don't have the time to go get a bag and fill it up. You just get a little cup, throw about 10 or 20 of them in there, and here's what they look like, right? So we start taking this out. You gotta be careful here. I gotta look carefully. Start taking these out, and you start looking for them, right? And here's one here. And I'm going to come right up to show you. Here it is, already germinated. This has literally been 3 weeks. So this is where they've started to put out the seed roots, the little roots that come out. And I'm not sure if you can see this on camera, so I'm going to come up there and bring this right up to the camera. And hopefully you'll be able to see that. There's 3 roots. So there's 3 seedlings in here. Now there could be 4, there could be 5. Only thing is that 3 of them at this point have already began to germinate. So let me show you what this looks like up close. All right, so there you go. You've got 3 roots that are coming out that you can visibly see. And what you would do is you would plant this, let this grow to about 1.5 inches to 2 inches tall, maybe even up to 3 inches, and then you would separate, because they would be all rooted into the soil and there would be nothing in the way of separating them. What I mean by nothing in the way is the seed at that point has completely been consumed, it's broken down in the soil, and all you have is 3 or 4 roots that are just slightly tangled that you can very gently separate and replant. Let's go ahead and just pop these guys in here. And like I said earlier, do not worry about the position of the seed. None of that really matters, okay? And we'll just put this back. Now, I want to show you, this was planted on, this was moved into this pot on October 14th of 2023, and it was nothing but the little tiny little hair. That's it, a little tiny root, and then a little tiny little, even smaller than that, okay? Just a thin little, looked like a hair, literally. And you can see there's 2 plants, and this one germinated with 2, just 2. We have 2 seedlings in here. So if I wanted to separate this, let this grow to a little bit bigger, okay? Maybe like another 1.5 inches, and then I would separate it by squeezing the pot. Very gently squeeze the pot, drop it on the table, and then very carefully, while the soil is moist, make sure the soil is moist, You carefully work it with your fingers, very gently, shake it, and now you've got 2 plants that you can begin to grow. So this was October 14, 23. That would be the date that I put it in here. Today's December 24th. So this is almost 2 months and about another month for germination. So this is 3 or 4 months old, as what you're seeing right here, about 3-4 month old. Now this one was stepped up into this pot, forgot to date it, but judging from what this looks like, this is probably 6-7 months right here, okay? And then this one is about a year, maybe a year and a half. Now, you can see how slow the progression is, but if you want this to speed up, as soon as you see that they're nicely rooted, step it up. If you don't step them up, you're gonna end up with a 4-year-old plant that's maybe just a little bigger than this one. Literally, 4-year-old plant, slightly bigger. The reason that happens is you have no root system, right? So no root system. The bigger the root system, the more nutrition the plant can get, the more it can spread, the more it can grow. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for you today on this. If you liked what you just saw, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up, maybe share the video. If you have any questions, you want to leave a comment, tell us about how you grow or maybe how you plant your seeds. Do you do something similar or do you do something different? Anyway, thanks for coming by. I hope you enjoy it. For those of you that celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas to all of you, and everybody else, Happy Holidays. I hope you're having a great time with your family. Glad I got to do this video. It's been raining, I've been working, it's getting dark before you know it, and I wanted to squeeze this one in. So happy holidays, Merry Christmas, peace among everybody. Go out there and grow some plants. See you back here again soon. Take care.